Right.
Well, we've got a special guest with us today, Steve Nutt, and I will introduce him fully in just a minute. I think what we'll do is we'll start the round robins around the room. I know that there might be a couple of other people that are going to try and join us. Wendy from Nuneaton has said that she's going to try to link in with us today. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, technology-wise, she can. So we'll see how it goes. But as per usual, if there is anyone that joins us as the meeting continues, we'll just let them in. Kate Perkins, you all know Kate. She's got co-hosting responsibilities today, and so we're trying something a bit different out with the tech. And this is also to sort of get Kate used to running them, so that moving forward, Kate will take over the Wednesday Zoom meetings. So what we'll just do, for those of you, you all know me anyway, I'm Louise Jelly, Vision Support Officer. I'm going to start from my screen as I see it, top left-hand corner. Nikki, you just want to introduce yourself and where you're based within the county. It will give Steve an idea who he's talking to.
Yeah, I'm Nikki, I'm in Lenton Spur.
Thank you. Kate P.
Hi Steve, I'm Kate and I'm a Vision Support Officer and I'm based in Kenilworth.
Jane.
I'm from Tiddington, just outside Stratford.
Okay. Mel.
Yeah, Mel from Stockton.
Great. Paul.
I'm Paul from Coleshill.
Great. Martin.
I'm Martin from Warwick.
Ian.
Ian Foles from Leamington Spa.
Great. Kath.
From Harbury, close to Leamington.
Thanks, Kath. Miriam.
Martin May Jones here from Hampton Magna.
Kate F.
Hi. From Nuneaton.
And Christine.
Christine, service user from Warwick.
That's great, lovely. So I'd like to, what we'll do is we'll crack into the main meeting, just so that you're all aware, as per usual, press the record button and we'll hopefully produce an audio version of this meeting, which will be made available on our website after today. If we unmute, ask Steve to unmute himself and we'll just introduce Steve.
There you go.
So I'd like to introduce Steve Nutt from the computer room. I believe Steve and ably assisted by Mel are going to give us a bit of a presentation to do some forms of technology. I'm not exactly sure what you're going to cover, Steve, so I'm just really going to hand over to yourself to introduce what you do and talk to everybody, if that's all right.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I'm Steve. We run a very small business with three of us. So there's Steve, me, and there's Angie, my wife, who's downstairs currently. And there's Debbie, ably assisting me next to me. So there's Debbie. CRS has been going since 1996, and I've known Mel a long time, so it's good to have two assistants on hand. It's always nice to have people to help you around. And we first of all specialised in training, purely training and support and stuff like that. And then we got into selling products, and it built up. So now we've got about 180 different products on the website. And we also we also provide services. And today I was going to talk a little bit about the services. And afterwards I was going to have a little bit of tech fun with you and demonstrate some stuff that I was particularly asked to demonstrate with the iPhone and LiDAR. So stay tuned for that. If you don't know what LiDAR is, we'll try and explain it and demonstrate it a little bit. And we have a surprise, even for Mel, a demonstration surprise later on, even for Mel. So stay tuned, Mel. No going to sleep. All right. Okay. So what we have, so we run CRS, as I say, only three of us. We provide computer support. So that is to say we can do remote, or before COVID, we could do on-site support, and hopefully that will come back as well. We can connect to your machine, and we can fix computer problems and various things like that. So if you have any techie problems with a computer, you can phone us up and you can book an appointment, or you can book online. And of course, then we will log into your computer, and basically we charge £30 an hour in 15-minute blocks. So what that means is if it only takes me 15 minutes, you pay £7.50. If it goes 16 minutes and beyond, it's £15, and so on. So that's how we do that. And that can be on anything really. You know, let's say I'm getting an error message with my emails, or my speech isn't working, or whatever. Because Debbie's here, I've got sighted assistance, so we've got backup, and we can, you know, hopefully fix any computer problems by logging in remotely to your computer with your permission. We are data protection registered, which means that, you know, if the data goes, you know, if the data goes out beyond you, then, you know, we are liable for that. So, you know, it's up to us to keep everything confidential. And we also have things like public indemnity, which means that, you know, we're protected so that, you know, we don't mess up your computer or anything like that. And if we do mess it up, we've got insurance against that. But we do say to people to make sure they back everything up if we're changing things significantly. So we can do computer support. That's the kind of thing we can do. We also do computer training. So that's training in JAWS or NVDA or Supernova. We can do training in those three packages. Oh, someone's happy. Yeah, so we can do training in those things. And again, the training is £30 an hour if it's remote. If it's on site, it's normally £495 a day, or £395 for half a day. Sorry, £295 for half a day. So that means we come to you. Excuse me. We spend 6 hours with you and train you on a one-to-one basis. So that's the kind of things we can do. And we also train on Android and iOS. And although I'm an Android person, I tend to use Android. I use iOS on a daily basis as well as Android on a daily basis. So I'm pretty familiar with both systems, both operating systems. So I can train on iOS and Android with either gestures or Bluetooth keyboards, or however you want to do it, and so on, like that. So that's the training and support side. We also do lots and lots of products. One of the cheapest products is probably the MicroSpeak we do, which is a little voice recorder. It's $39.95, and it's a very simple voice recorder. It only has 3 buttons on it, and so rewind, play and forward, and the record button and the 2 volume controls. That's literally all that's on it, and you can record notes one after the other sequentially. You can't move them. You can delete them, but you can't actually move them around. So, you know, you record them in the order you want, and it'll store up to 48 hours of recording. So that's one of the cheapest things we do. We do daisy players like the Milestone, if anyone's familiar with the Milestone, and then we go right up to Braille displays, including the Vario Ultra Braille displays from Visio Braille, and the Eurobraille Braille displays such as the ESIS 12, ESIS 24, ESIS 40. So anyone that's interested in Braille displays, we do those. And we also repair Braille displays as well. I have a very able engineer who works for me on an ad hoc basis, and he does my repairs for me, and he repairs Milestones and all kinds of things. So that's a brief, really, overview of the stuff that we do. There's a lot more stuff that we do, as well as support and training. It's a wonder I get any sleep. We do recording. We tidy up recordings. So if you've got recordings, electronic recordings, you know, MP3s or WAV files, and the recording's a bit hissy or a bit, you know, scratchy or whatever, we can restore them, we can tidy them up, we can clean them up. We clean up vinyl recordings and things like that as well. So we can do that for people too. You know, one story about that is I had a lovely lady who used to be a customer of mine, and unfortunately she passed away. and her mum phoned me up and she said the only recording I've got of her voice, of Joanna's voice, is the answer phone message she's put out on EE, you know, on her phone number. And she said, I phoned EE and they said they can't give me the recording. So I said, let me see what I can do. So I phoned up and I recorded the answer phone message on my device plugged into my mixing desk, and I tidied it all up, cleaned it all up, and I gave it to her on a CD, and she loved it. So that's the kind of thing we can do. We can tidy things up. So that's sound editing I do, and sound recording and stuff like that. And we also do Braille transcription, or any kind of transcription. That's to say, if you need files converted, we do those. So, you know, if you've got a file that you can't read, we can convert it for you. It's usually something silly like a £5 or something to convert a file, depending on how big the file is and how much conversion it needs. But we can quote you on that. So we can convert files, and we can also transcribe files to Braille, and we can transcribe them to synthesized speech. That means that we can create any manual. We can create a DAISY manual for you. We transcribe to DAISY as well. So if you wanted a DAISY version of a particular manual, we can do that too. And we will always quote you a price, and there's no obligation. So those are the kind of things, really, that we do. I don't know quite the format of the meeting, whether you want questions on that or whether you just want me to carry on.
If anybody's got any questions at the moment, they can ask them now, and then we can move it into a second phase. Does anybody want to ask Steve anything?
Yes, I've got one quick one. It's Kate. I've got a tape recorder that's not working properly. Does your repairman repair tape recorders?
It does depend on what's wrong with the tape recorder and how old the tape recorder is and when we can get parts for it or not. Do you know what's wrong with it?
Well, it's just it just goes very, very slow, and then it sort of stops.
Sounds like the main belt might have gone on it. Do you know the make of the tape recorder?
It's what I can tell you where it was from. It was from the RNIB. It's one of them little tape recorders with the forward and you can record like proper tapes. It's not a voice recorder, but it's got the forwards, back, and rewinds and records and stuff.
Oh, is it cassettes? Is it?
It's yes, and it's one of them where you can slow the speed down, so you can turn the wheel and you can get twice as much on the tape.
Oh, isn't that that's the APH cassette recorders, isn't it? The Hager Electronics tape recorder.
Well, it was from the RNIB, and you can, if you've got a tape which is 60 minutes, you can make it 2 hours.
Yeah,
you can slow the speed down.
Honestly, it's doubtful. It's doubtful we could repair that because the company that made them, I think, have gone bust. So
worth a
difficult
try.
to get parts for that. If the belt's gone, then we wouldn't, may not be able to get a new belt for it and things like that. So it's a bit unfortunate.
Worth a try, worth a shot.
No problem, Kate. I think Jane also wants to ask a question.
I was going to say, Louise, would you, in an email, put in the name and address of Steve's company? Then at least we've got it to hand.
Yes, definitely. I'll make sure that we provide you with all of Steve's contact details.
Lovely.
So, if you do need to take up any of his services, you've got those accessible, definitely, yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. That's really good. Thank you for that. Okay. And of course, if anyone does contact me, you can contact me by email or phone or however you like, really. Carrier pigeon, any way you like.
That's fine, Steve. So I think unless anyone else got any questions about that, you can move on to your next part of your session.
Okay, well let's have a quick look at. I did say to Mel that I would demonstrate the iPhone's LiDAR capabilities. Does anyone know what LiDAR is?
No idea.
No.
Okay,
Never heard of it.
I can't remember what LiDAR stands for, but basically the camera has a built-in feature where it detects laser light and it can bounce off of objects. So if it bounces off of objects, it has what they call people detection. Now, what that means is, in these days of COVID and things like that, you can socially distance, right? So what you can do is you can get the iPhone to tell you how far away a person is from you in terms of meters and feet and things like that. And it will beep slower and slower as they get closer to you, or faster and faster as they, slower and slower as they move away from you, and it will beep faster and faster as they get closer to you. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to demonstrate the actual LiDAR on the iPhone. Now, this does take a bit of a setup to do it, because what you have to do is you have to go into settings, and you have to go into accessibility and into magnifier, believe it or not. And it's part of the magnifier app. So you have to enable magnifier on your iPhone. Even if you're totally blind, you have to enable magnifier on your iPhone. But there is good news. There is good news about that, and I'll tell you the good news about it in a minute. That there's another app where you don't have to enable magnifier. You can actually forget about it. So it's a lot simpler. But Apple have made it complicated, as they normally do. So what they do is you go into settings, you go into magnifier, and you enable magnifier. And then you have to go into the, what's it called, Mel? Help me out. Direct actions, shortcuts. You know, the bit where you triple tap?
Yeah, I think it's called accessibility shortcuts.
That's the one, accessibility shortcuts. So you go in there and you have to enable people detection once you've turned on the magnifier, which means then that you triple tap and then you select it as one of your accessibility choices. So I'm going to unlock the iPhone. Okay. Okay.
That's the
So
iPhone 12, doesn't it?
this is only available on the iPhone 12 Pro.
Right, before we all start trying.
Before we all start trying it out. It's not available on the 12 mini, and it's not available on the standard 12. It's only available on the Pro models. Okay. And I was so excited about this, I actually went out and got a Pro, which is really unheard of for me, isn't it, Mel? Because I'm really Android.
Yeah, I'm just quite shocked that you've got a new iPhone. Well, albeit a bit jealous as well. But yeah, it is something that we covered as Steve sets this up. It is actually something we covered, Kath. Ian was very interested in LiDAR when it first came out, and there was a big piece on it, wasn't there, Ian? So I know you'll be looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll let you get on with it, Steve. I shall keep my mouth
What I'm going to do
closed.
is I'm going to triple tap the button, as you know, the side button. And 1, 2, 3.
Accessibility shortcuts.
And what it's going to do is
People detection button.
people detection button. You see there's a button on there?
Selected. Voiceover button.
And I've got voiceover
Cancel button.
and cancel. So I haven't got the magnifier on enabled. I've actually just turned on people detection in the magnifier. So if I stand up and I
Selected. Voiceover button. People detection button.
do this people detection, basic people detection.
Grab people detection. Viewfinder image 0.5. End button.
Right, so Debbie's now a meter away from me. Can you hear that beep?
Yes, we can
Yeah.
hear it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
0.5.
She's now half a meter away.
0.5.
So it's getting faster.
Very close.
As she gets close.
Yeah, it's getting faster. Yeah.
So as we move away, it's getting slower. You see? That's really fast.
No.
We're close. See? And that on its own, I'm going to end that one.
Detection of viewfinder image.
Okay, so now this is really good. It's quite useful, and you can customize it as to whether it's feet or meters and various things like that. And you can say speech only, beep only, and whatever. The only thing I can't get it to do is I can't get it to use the same voice as I use with VoiceOver. So while I've got male Siri, it's using Daniel's voice. And that's also true of the other thing I'm going to show you, which even I haven't even told Mel about this, and we do talk a lot. So what I'm going to show you now is Super LiDAR. Have you heard of Super LiDAR, Mel?
Nope.
Super LiDAR is made by the same people who make SuperSense. Have you heard of SuperSense?
Yes, yes.
Right. So SuperSense, for those who don't know, it's a general purpose app for OCR for scanning, and it also reads product labels. It reads all kinds of different labels, and it does all that. And it can also explore and tell you what objects are in front of you and things like that, whether it's a door or a seat or a chair or so on. So what SuperSense have done is they've built out an app called Super LiDAR. And with Super LiDAR, you don't have to go in and turn on the magnifier or anything like that, because the app does it all for you. So you don't have to even have it on your shortcuts list. You can actually turn that off and hide it. And you don't even have to have it on your triple tap. So you can have just turn on and off talkback and not even bother with that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into Super LiDAR.
Super LiDAR, open menu.
Now,
Start detecting button.
So
start detecting distance, mask and environment.
So it just said, did you hear that? It just said start detecting distance, mask and environment. What this does is it actually detects whether people have got a mask on or not.
Oh.
So as a person walks up to you or comes close to you, it will tell you whether they've got a mask on or not. This is quite exciting for blind people. So let's have a go at this here.
Stop detecting.
Right.
A person without a mask. A person without a mask. A person without a mask.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A person without a mask, yeah?
A person with a mask.
Do you hear the difference there?
Uh-huh.
A person with a mask.
Very useful.
A mask on there.
A person without a mask.
Took it off again.
She's took it off again now, look.
A person without a mask.
Isn't that
Oh
good?
yes, yes, without. Yeah.
Isn't that good?
That's really good.
Isn't that
Very
good?
useful. Mm-hmm.
Stop detecting.
But as well as I mean that sounds a bit gimmicky, but it also detects objects. So as I said, as you're walking around, it will say person without a mask. It will say seat 3 feet in front of you. It will say a white door, and it will tell you various different types of things like that. So not only have we had LiDAR, but we've had Super LiDAR. That's really good, isn't it?
Mm. Thanks, Steve, for that. That's really useful.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. And there's nothing on Android like it, by the way. So if there's any Android fans, there's nothing yet on Android like it. So it's really quite good. And I played with it last night with Angie, and I played with it this morning with Debbie, and we tried it with them without the mask. And as you can hear, it works really well. You know, so that's LiDAR in its, you know.
And can you? Sorry, Steve. Can you only get that app on the 12 Pro, or can that be on any iPhone? Or
what, Super LiDAR?
Yeah.
Super LiDAR. Yes, you can only get Super LiDAR on the 12 Pro.
Right. Okay.
Because it actually needs the hardware of the 12 Pro, Christine, to make it work, because that's got the LiDAR capability. So it wouldn't give you the right information.
Yeah.
On the lower one.
But Christine, you can get SuperSense on your other iPhones.
Yeah. Okay.
And I recommend you all download it. Anyone that's got an iPhone, you all download it and try it, because it's really good. And it's got this explore mode, which is really good, and it can tell you about chairs and tables, and so as you're walking around, it can tell you about people and, you know, commonly known objects. It can tell you about them as you're walking around, and it can tell you, you know, within how many feet you are of it and things, and it's got scene description and all that, all the kinds of things telling AI does, but it does it even better. Yeah. So I recommend.
Is it true that the magnifier on the phone, I think, will do it to some degree? Not as well as SuperSense, certainly, but if people just want to try the option of being given a little bit more information, if you've got one of the newer phones and you just put the magnifier on, as you're pointing at things, it's not as descriptive, certainly, but if I were to point my phone, I'm in my lounge at the moment, if I was to point it even into the patio doors so that the phone could see out in the garden, it would say grass, trees, wall, window. So even without any of these apps on your phone, you can get a certain amount from the magnifier app, even if you can't really see very well through it. So it's sort of something to, you know, that may be worth a try. While I'm sort of holding a a quick speaking for a moment, I want to also say that a lot of people seem to have an idea that I know a lot more than I do about technology. And this is something that Warwickshire Vision, you'll have these lovely ideas about all the things I know. This is probably the best time for me to ever say, I wouldn't know any of this stuff, or I wouldn't know a lot of it if I hadn't worked for Steve. When I did work for Steve, because all the products that he sells, he doesn't just sell them, and I'm not just saying this because he's listening, but if he didn't understand them and he didn't know about them, he wouldn't sell them. And I say that because a lot of companies who have are visually impaired sellers, or I don't mean they are visually impaired, but they sell products for visually impaired, they don't always know that much about the products they sell. That is not the case for Steve. I don't give him encouragement very often, so don't want to get your head, but he taught me so much. And also, as I say, he does know about the products he sells, and that is really important when you are purchasing something.
I think so. I think also having an understanding of blindness, because I'm blind myself. I think the best USP for my company is that I'm blind and I run it for blind people. And many of the companies are run by sighted people, and they are almost scripted. So when you phone them up, they have a kind of crib sheet of questions that they can answer. And if you go off script, then it gets more difficult for them. But when I sell anything, I do it because I like it and I test it and I'm enthusiastic about it. And as I say, so that's really what we're based on. We try and I've got a reputation to keep up. So if I do rubbish, then I deserve it. So
but this is the case for the training as well, though, isn't it, Steve? Because we've all been trained by people who don't actually know what they're doing, and it's the most annoying experience going. So
yes, and although I'm passionate about technology, I also and I've learned a lot from Mel about this as well, because Mel's got a teaching background. Mel's been a teacher, so my turn to make Mel's head swell now. I've learned a lot from Mel about this, in the sense of trying to come down, not down, but trying to reach the level of the person that's learning rather than my own knowledge, so that I can empathize with them and train at the level they're currently at. I had a training session just the other day, and I said to the lady, what do you want to learn? And she said, I want to learn everything. I want to learn the internet. I want to learn this. I want to learn that. Turns out that she's just gone blind, bless her. And well, not just gone blind, but she's just lost a lot of her sight. And she used to use magnification. Now she's getting used to speech. So it seemed odd to her that I was training her to go around the desktop on the computer, just to press left and right arrow and up and down arrow, and press first letter navigation to move around the desktop. But I had to go to that lower level first to get her to a place where she can start going on the internet and then learning about web structures and headings and links and things like that. So I do try and be very patient with people and teach to the best of my ability at that kind of level, if you know what I mean.
Can I also make a point, Steve, about the internet as well, because I think this is quite important for our listeners too. A lot of websites are not all that accessible. So if you're trying to learn and gain confidence on the internet, especially using a screen reader or magnification, Steve's site does work on the internet. He's got very good reason to want it to work because he's using it all the time. It's his own website. So when you are practicing on the internet, I would, when I used to work in the IT, I always used to use his website simply because I knew it would work. And if it didn't, I knew he would make it work for visually impaired people on the internet. So that's
either
also
that or you'd be around to beat me up.
That's right. Absolutely. So when Louise does send the website, for anyone who does want to just get a little bit more familiar with the internet, his site is a good place to start because it's quite straightforward and easy to navigate.
At the same time, if any of you finds any problem with my website, please feel free to give us feedback, because it's the only way we know there's a problem and we can try and fix it.
Well, you're coming across very well today, Steve.
Thank you.
Better than a demonstration we had on Zoom last night from a different company, which probably better remain nameless, but you've come across considerably better than they did already. and Mel, I'm not going to let you be so demure. Mel is without doubt the most knowledgeable IT volunteer we have. So thank you.
Well,
I'll pay you later, Ian.
Yeah. Well, Mel and I go back a very long way, don't we, Mel?
Yeah,
A very long way. And,
we used to work together at Site Village, and we won't even go there because we could talk about Site Village forever. But we did have some adventures together at Site Village. We used to work in Birmingham together every year, and had some great fun, didn't we?
And I'm sure Mel won't mind me saying this, but even before lockdown, even before COVID, even years and years ago, we've had loads of virtual drinks, haven't we, Mel?
Oh yeah, long live the virtual drinks.
Even before lockdown.
We were doing Zoom before lockdown even was thought of, weren't we?
Well, Site Village is somewhere you go if you don't mind taking 3 hours to do a half-hour job.
That's right, exactly.
I must say that apart from the hands-on part of it, it's making me rethink my business, because there's a lot of exhibitions that we go to where we don't get any money out of it, and we have to do all the traveling and accommodations and, you know, hotels sometimes overnight and things like that. And if this lockdown has taught me anything, you can do presentations on Zoom, although you can't do hands-on. What we tend to do with expensive stuff like braille displays, certainly, we actually bring it to your house at no obligation, so you can see it, you know, before you spend thousands of pounds on a braille display. So we've learned that much as well. You know, we're trying to adapt to it and so on.
Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah.
Could I ask, Steve, is LiDAR the same as Seeing A1?
You mean Seeing AI?
Seeing AI, yeah.
It was close, yeah.
No. Yes and no. Yes and no. So Seeing AI is another one like SuperSense that you can specify what you want to look at. So whether it's printed text, handwriting, and so on. It has what's called channels, doesn't it, Mel?
We did a demonstration on Seeing AI at the last session, I think, and probably that's what Jane. Maybe you were there.
Actually, I wish I'd known that, because Seeing AI has a thing called Real World now, where it uses the LiDAR.
That's right.
Yes. So Seeing AI can also use LiDAR if you've got it. If you don't have LiDAR, you won't get the Real World option. But the Real World option lets you explore around, so you can see people, and it tells you who people are, you know, detecting.
But of course, that will
people.
only work if you've got the 12 Pro.
Yes.
Just as a reminder, unfortunately.
However, rumour has it that they're bringing it in all iPhones in from 13 up. But whether that's true or not, we don't know. It's just rumour at the moment.
Yeah.
Because LiDAR is quite expensive, apparently, to manufacture, you know, to put in devices. And that's why it's a bit of an experimental thing in the iPhone 12 Pro. But it was
to answer
really
Jane's question a little bit, Jane, if you were to put your iPad, I think it's an iPad you have, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. If you were to put that on magnifier, you would get those results that I was speaking about earlier on. So if you were to put magnifier on, and I can talk you through how to do that over the phone, if that would help. But if you were to put magnifier on and start pointing it at things, you would get a certain amount of information.
Great, lovely. I'll have a go, Mel, and if I get stuck, can I ring you?
Of course you can. Of course you can.
Lovely,
yes,
thanks.
by all
I'll
means.
try that.
Sorry, Steve. On you go.
no problem. Yeah, no. Have a go, Jane, because it's good. Any of this stuff is good, and it's just up to people to really use it and tell the companies right how they enjoy it, you know, and that's how we'll get more of these features, you know. It's almost like when they introduce a feature, you know, you've got to find someone to use it to give feedback, and then you know, they make the feature even better, you know. So but it's all really good, you know, with this LiDAR and what I call artificial vision, that's what I call it, is really coming on well now, isn't it? You know, where you can read text, and you can read products, and for those, if there are any that are interested in Android, there's a thing called Google Lookout, and that has the best product recognition I've ever seen. Even better than Seeing AI, better than some, you know, the barcode, because what it does is it takes an image of the whole product. It doesn't just use the barcode, it takes an image of the product, sends it up to Google, and sends back the search. And of course, we all know how good Google is at search, don't we? So for Android, it's Google Lookout is pretty much king of that, as well as Envision AI, similar to Seeing AI. That's another app. So, but Envision AI is available on iPhone as well. And of course, you've also got the Envision glasses, which is currently sold by Sight and Sound, or you can get it on the Envision website. But Sight and Sound did a demo of that a few weeks ago. They had one of their webinars, and I believe that they've got a recording of it on their website. If anyone is interested in that. Have you seen it, Mel?
I haven't, but I know it's there. It's one of those on my to-do list to watch.
Yeah, yeah. They did a demonstration of that, and I was at the demo. I was actually there. I haven't got the Envision glasses yet, but I think they're exciting too, because again, they can read handwriting, and they can also explore. So they can say trees and grass and things like that. Because it's a bit bothersome, isn't it, Mel, going out and walking around with your phone in front of you?
Well, we had this conversation last week, and I was saying I'm sure it's a really wonderful product, but personally I wouldn't feel totally comfortable walking around waving my phone around. It's almost, you know, I'm walking along with my guide dog showing that I can't see, and I'm waving a not only an iPhone but a newest one. You know, it is kind of a little bit risky, I think. But you know,
So,
I wonder if there are any more questions. Do we have anyone else with any burning questions?
I just actually wondered whether or not I know Christine's on the line. Christine raised a query with me about having missed your 10-minute presentation you did, Mel.
Oh yes, I've spoken to Christine, and I've
spoken to Christine about that.
Yeah, so I think she's quite clear on that now.
My error in not pressing record at the very beginning when we were sort of arguing and chatting, and then we missed out that bit.
No, I won't take it personally, Louise.
No, well, we pressed record on 2 devices today, so all of the chat. And I think sometimes the chat between people is as informative as obviously, you know, is equally as presentations, isn't it? Because it's about that practice, the practical questions and the practical answers that accompany them, but how people put them into their daily lives, which is really important. So,
and it's also important to get the balance right. We know that not everyone in the Wednesday Zoom group is going to be interested in technology. So I don't like to overdo the technology, especially now that there is an IT forum running on a Tuesday every so often. So at least we do have the choice now, and we can perhaps move some of the technology things onto an IT forum day, can't we? So, you know, we've got all these possibilities, haven't we now?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. So, Mai, you've got your hand up. You've got a question.
Yes. It's made me realise how void I am of all this information, of this, that, and the other. I suppose my 2 tins and a piece of string is now out of date, Steve. I'm just lost. You know, I'm sort of looking at things. I'm looking at magnifying glasses and things and all this other stuff. And there is one thing, I don't know whether people would be prepared to, but I have macular degeneration. And I can't see, I've got little or no central vision. I can't read, I can't write, I can't see to write. And everybody speaks about different things, but to what extent are they blind, or what are their disabilities in blindness?
Yeah. Well, to answer your question from me, I'm totally blind. So I have absolutely no sight. In fact, I've got artificial eyes. So I'm what I call proper blind. I don't play at it, you know. So this is why I like all these things like the Envision glasses and things like that, because I've never been able to read print in my life. You know, I've never been able to just pick up a piece of paper and read it. and we're close to that point, aren't we, Mel, where
Oh, definitely.
blind
Yeah.
people can do it quite easily. You know, just pick up a piece of paper and read it.
Mm.
And you know, that's really what's quite exciting about it. But what I was going to say is, I think it was Louise talking. If it wasn't, I apologise. And you said what's important is to listen. You know, to the general chat is just as important in a presentation.
Yeah.
That's equally important to the presenter, because anything you chat about in a meeting like that is all good feedback for us, and it may give us ideas for new services or products we can provide in the future. And I was going to suggest that if anyone hasn't got any more questions about what I've been talking about at the same time, while I'm here, if you've got any general questions on tech or on stuff, chuck them at us, and me and Mel will try and answer it to the best of our abilities and do that. So, you know, just open the floor really for any questions.
Can we
Steve,
just...
can I just jump in there? It's Kate from Vision Support, and just based on what Marion just said, we do have a number of service users who have no tech at all, and don't want to really go out and buy, you know, say an iPhone, an iPad, or even an expensive Android phone. What would you, so based on what Marion just said, what would you suggest might help him as a low cost sort of starting point that would help him, you know, with things like some of the things you've described that obviously the more expensive products offer? What would be a basic start for him?
Thank you. Can I just interrupt a moment? And thank you for that, Kate. I did invest in Supernova 2 years ago, and really, I've got nowhere with it. I'm not getting the advantages out of it that I was hoping I would do.
Right.
Can I pick this up, Steve, for you?
Yeah, I was going to say you've got an expert on your doorstep now. Go on, Mel.
Sorry, Mai. Two things I wanted to pick up on with Mai's question. That's all I was going to say, Kate. When we sort of nearly jumped in together, Kate and I, it was just two things. One was exactly the same as yours, that not everybody's into high-tech stuff.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell from what you've just said about Supernova, and something that Steve's touched on, is that you can buy a product, and actually Supernova is quite expensive, so you invested quite a lot of money in that.
Yes, we did, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where the importance of training comes in, because you can buy the most expensive product in the world, and if nobody shows you how to use it, you miss out on an awful lot. So that's where the training comes in. So, you know, people do offer training. But my other point was, as Warwickshire Vision Services have rehab workers and very experienced members of staff who have experience of people with MD, with macular degeneration, they will have an idea about your lack of central vision, and they can show you, under normal circumstances when we don't have a lockdown, they could show you different magnifiers, low-cost magnifiers that may help you, rather than going to all the techie stuff. I know that doesn't help at the minute, but as soon as things do improve, then I'm sure that you could be you know, referred for a rehab visit, and I'm sure that would help.
Could I say that I am a guinea pig for Oxite. I went to Stratford this time last year, or the year before, with this new thing that they're working on for central vision loss. And that so far at the moment, I think they're still running late with it.
Yes.
But we had the thing with Richard a few weeks ago, or in November, I think it was, and there was a question about these things that is firm cells, and I've since put him in touch with Colin and Dot, who are members of the WVS, and he's bought a TV something, and I was speaking to him yesterday about it, and but considering I was an engineer and an engineering lecturer, I am almost totally a computer illiterate.
I'm sure there is a word for that, and I can't think of it either.
but normally I usually use a slightly different word, but there's ladies present.
Sorry, Steve, on you go.
Can I just try and answer Kate P's question before I forget what the question was? And that is, Kate, you were saying about all this expensive stuff, and what would I recommend somebody buy to get them started? Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Actually, I'd recommend them to buy something that I don't sell, believe it or not, just to show you how honest I am. And that's an Amazon Echo. Because
I think Mai's already got the Echo, hasn't he?
I don't think so.
Oh, sorry, Mai. I thought you were one of the people. Just to put you in the picture, Steve, there were several Amazon Echoes sent out to people, to service users of Warwickshire Vision for testing. And that's my fault, Kate, because I thought that Mai had already got one.
No, I got not.
The Amazon Echo was the thing that Robin Christopherson demonstrated the other evening.
Was that yesterday?
No, that was last Wednesday when we had PowerPoint problems, didn't we, Mai? And you struggled with the hearing because of the way that we were sort of running the PowerPoint presentation through the computer. If you remember rightly, this was to do with the talking smart speaker. The Amazon Echo's the talking smart speaker.
That's it. Yep.
I can't recall that at all, I'm afraid.
No, I know you did struggle with hearing the presentation, so you probably
but if you the thing about it, I mean, even the Amazon Echoes or the Google Nests, or well, they used to be Google Homes, you know, the Google Nest is only £59 and the Amazon, or £79 I think, and the Amazon Echoes are only £30 to £50 and various things like that. And if you're not good on the web, if you're not good on the internet, these things are really good for searching for things, you know, stuff like that. And so if you really are, if you are really techno illiterate, as you're talking about, Mike.
Oh, thanks for that term, Steve.
Techno illiterate. There you go. What you can do is you can buy an Amazon Echo, and then you've got things like you can ask it to play music for you, play tracks of music. You can play games with it if you get bored. All those kinds of things with your voice. But you can also do things that are quite productive. So, for example, when I'm running my business here, I have a calculator in front of me, and I pick up the calculator. And if I want to know what a price is, excluding VAT, the mathematical formula to do that is you give your price, which is including VAT, and you divide it by 1.2, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to do that, you can pick up a calculator, a talking calculator, and you can key in 100 divided by, 1.2. Or I can say, Alexa, 100 divided by 1.2.
100 divided by 1.2.
You get the point. See? It's quite efficient, isn't it? Now, that's not bad for a 50 quid device, is it, really?
I use Google Home. As you say, I think it's now Google Nest.
Google Home is miles ahead of Amazon Echo, but Echoes are cheaper. That's why I said it. Yeah.
I wouldn't be without it at all.
Yeah.
It creates a shopping list for me. I can ask it to, as you say, calculate, tell me the number of the next bus in the track.
Yeah, where's the next bus and things like that. Yeah.
Telephone numbers I don't have to look up. I find it absolutely brilliant, and I really wouldn't be without it. I was given it by the family. They said, "Mother, try this. If you don't like it, we'll have it at home." But I wouldn't let them take it away.
Now listen, what I can say to you is, once you've got it set up, you don't need any knowledge of the internet, do you? You just ask it natural questions, you know, and it gets you the information. And that's why I say, if you really want a good starting block, then get one of these voice activated assistants.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'd say. Don't know if that is an answer to your question, Kate.
Yes, thank you. It's just, yeah, it was just what you would suggest, which obviously
Yeah.
I know we've had presentations on the Echo and things.
And of course, the Echo will read audiobooks for you.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you realised as well that the Echo will read Kindle books.
Yes, I use mine all the time to read Kindle. It's very good.
So how does that work, Mel?
If you have a Kindle account, because obviously the Echo is Amazon. If you have a Kindle account and your Kindle is set up, you can just ask your Echo, read my Kindle book or read such and such on the Kindle, and it will use the accessibility. It will use the voice within the Echo and start reading your book. So it would be just the same as reading it on your iPad or your iPhone using the voice. So it will read it with speech for you.
Right.
Yeah. Do you want me to demonstrate?
Could I go back to my first question of the afternoon, please?
Hang on a minute. Hang on. Let me just
All right,
quickly
let's
show
stay
you
there.
this. Let me just quickly show you this because it's good. Alexa, read my Kindle book.
Resuming your most recent book, Sadder Survivor Stories. There's less than a minute left in the book. Reading at 1.5 speed. Thank you for taking the time to read and understand the journeys of these survivors. We hope that this will give others an insight into how victims have to live during
Alexa, play slower.
Excellent.
Reading at 1.25 speed. With 5 years
Alexa,
later, I
play
have
slower.
reading at normal speed. Devastating to think someone could destroy a person the way he did my daughter. The final straw was she got away from him and was moved to a safe location. He found her and actually put her in hospital this time. I only found out the horrific details of
Alexa,
the attack
stop.
when he...
Isn't that good?
Yeah.
Yeah, very clever.
I mean, Kindle's got something like 40 million of books, right? That suddenly, that right there, that 50 quid device has made books accessible to blind people.
Yeah.
Do you want to have to buy a Kindle though, or
No,
no.
No, just ask someone to set up a Kindle account for you, and then you
Right.
have to buy your Kindle books. But you can also do it with Audible as well, so it will play Audible books as well.
So the free, say for example, the free audiobooks that come with Amazon Prime, would an Echo just read free audiobooks from your Prime account?
Yeah.
Excellent. Good.
Yeah.
Could I go back to my first question? Am I in the right meeting? Am I?
Yes, you
Am I in the right meeting?
Of course you are, yeah, because
I'm drowning.
Well, we promise that perhaps the next one, or whenever the next one that Louise organises, perhaps it won't be so technology based, because we try and sort of cover everybody's needs and expectations, don't we, Louise?
Yeah.
So maybe.
In fairness, the next meeting is more rehab based and hopefully a little bit sensor based as well. But I think picking up on the point, I think you made it a couple of weeks ago to do with your Dolphin software. Is that I think that's something that probably I know you've struggled with, but I don't know if you've had any training from WVS on Dolphin, or if it's Dolphin Direct that need to actually give you training. But that seems like potentially you're sort of, you probably need to follow up with Dolphin on that and just see if there is anything they can do. Or if not, I know I don't like to ever suggest people give up on tech, but adopt that low tech solution. And actually have a device like the AI, the artificial intelligence type device doing the work for you.
Can I make another suggestion as well? I don't know how Mel thinks about this, but Mike, if you are really drowning in technology, but you have Supernova, I think Supernova is probably overcomplicated for what you need. So why not ask Dolphin if there's any way they can downgrade you to Guide Connect?
Could I say, Steve, that I've never been a reader, so I don't miss reading books and things.
Right.
Most of my hobbies have been outdoor. I've been a railway modeler since 1970.
Yeah.
In the last 10 or 12 years, I resurrected my Meccano set. So my sort of hobbies and activities have been that way rather than sort of intellectual.
Yeah. But what I want to say to you though, Mike, is don't don't think that just because technology is there, you should know about it. What I mean by that is, if your bent isn't technology, then don't try and compete with clever blind people who know about technology just because they've got an exciting product. The reason I showed you the things like Kindle reading today is because I think it's quite exciting that it gives us more access for those that do read books and things like that. And my presentation is very general. But if I was talking to you personally, I would say, well, what do you need? What would give you? I mean, if you're happy with, for example, the Amazon Echo playing your radio station, then that's good enough tech. It's good enough tech for what you need. So really assess what you want to do, what you want to do with your life, and if tech even needs to be a thing in your life. It doesn't have to be. The thing that worries me is people who think it's a bad thing not to know about technology, and I don't. I think if technology doesn't interest you, then you don't need to know about it.
And as long as you can do the things that you want to do, I think the main thing is to have a look at your situation, and the IT service at Warwickshire Vision would do this with you. They would assess what you want to do in your life and find the best tools to help you do it. And I think that's the important thing here.
Can I say that I think it was Liz preceded Kate, didn't she?
Yeah.
And she was going to arrange for somebody to come and show me about. I think they were coming from the RNIB when COVID came in and just before Liz left. And but the thing is, I took a subscription out on the railway modeler because of being a railway modeler. And with that, you can blow things up in size and everything, and you can see things more clearly. But I think I've still not looked at the last 5 issues of last year yet. The computer's very rarely on. So.
And I think this is unfortunate because of the lockdowns. You would have had a visit by now, wouldn't you? But maybe it's something that, Louise, maybe you could refer this, because I think Liz didn't precede Kate, by the way.
No, I was just about to mention that. No, it's Ruth. Liz.
Yeah, Ruth's the person now.
I'm not IT savvy, I'm afraid.
Oh.
Well, you are, but you're not in that actual role, are you? That's all I meant.
I'll make some notes, and I think I'll do a couple of referrals. I think possibly it's worth having a phone call from one of the rehabs as well as
definitely, yeah.
And it may well be, as Mel says, that until we can physically see you in a support centre, we're not able to necessarily demonstrate anything else to you. But I'm not an expert, and I think, to be honest, it'd be better if they have the conversations with you, and you can. It is actually, as Steve says, work out what it is you actually would like to achieve.
But I don't know what's available.
No, that is a kind of vicious circle, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
I mean, you're saying about reading a model railway magazine. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. So really, you either want something that you can see that blows up big, as you said, or something that will read that print to you. You know.
Well, I've got a reader. My wife reads for me.
Yeah.
And that is.
So what are you moaning about then?
That's a good low-tech option, isn't it? Really.
I haven't got a wife that reads to me because she's blind as well. See, what are you complaining about?
Presumably, from what you've both just said, though, is if Marion got an Alexa or an Echo, an Amazon Echo, and set up a Kindle account set up with the Echo or the Alexa, you can get those magazines, can't you, on Kindle? So that would be a way round for it to read to him. Is that right?
I don't know if you can get. Can you get magazines?
You can get magazines on
Certain
Kindle.
magazines you can, can't you?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know whether that one specifically, but that's presumably that's what he could do.
My still wants to do it visually though, so Mai's not there yet for speech. He wants to be able to see it, don't you, Mai?
Well, I mean, I can see I can blow the pictures up. Yeah. But I can't read the captions and I can't read the text. So, But
So then isn't that then time to get it read to you rather than
But maybe
trying
we
to see
maybe
it?
we shouldn't focus too much on my, because we can talk to my direct,
Yeah,
can't we?
yeah,
And then
yeah.
and give my the one-to-one help rather than in a meeting. Do you think that's fair, Louise?
I'm just trying to
I'm just going to say I've had my share today.
No, that's fine, my.
No, that's fine. That's absolutely,
Yeah.
I think probably to carry on talking about it outside the meeting is more helpful to you, Mai, to be honest, to be able to talk through what we think we can, well, what you would like to achieve. That's always the best line, isn't it? To start with that baseline, what we'd like to achieve, and then at least we know whether or not we've sort of helped you. So,
it goes without saying though that if I can help at all in terms of trying to direct to signpost, then by all means contact me, Louise, and I'll try and, if you've got any specifics, I'll try and figure it out technology wise. But that's always been my passion, to try and bring tech to everybody.
Yeah. But you comment about the fact that you do courses for Supernova is of interest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but no, you had enough of me. Then we'll go on to something else. Something interesting.
I have just checked that you can get Railway Modeler on the Kindle, so.
Oh, thank you.
That is an option.
You can get it on Kindle, can you?
Yeah.
There you go then.
But I thought there was a facility on Supernova to be read to.
There is. Let me see if we can give you a call, Mai, about this, because I can then explain what Supernova is, and I'm sure Louise will facilitate that for us.
Yeah, that's not a problem. I think, to be honest, it sounds like you've got a piece of kit that it's just about trying to give you some sort of low-level instruction, so you can some use out of it, which would be really good, definitely. So
thank you, ladies.
Thanks for sorting it out, Kath, because I was just looking on Amazon Kindle as well. So anything else?
Can I also say that sometimes WVS has these large magnifiers which people return or don't need or whatever. And sometimes I think those might have been used to sit in the office and do nothing if there were any going spare, or sometimes they sell them or loan them out. But Louise might know about that.
Desktop magnifiers, yeah, we do.
That's right.
Get those donated to us and recycle them in effect once they've been pat tested. So if they, that's again, working out what it is you want to do with it will then help determine what sort of the best piece of equipment is for you, really. Definitely. So anybody else? Was there another surprise that you had in store, Steve?
No, I've had my surprise. I
think. A surprise. That was Super LiDAR. I knew Mel wouldn't know about that.
He always likes to keep me on my toes.
Yeah.
Steve, I don't know if you knew, but I've seen on some of these archaeological programs on television, they use LiDAR to reconstruct cities below the ground. I don't know how they do that. But it's the same. It's the same principle with the detection of sound or light or whatever it is. But they reconstruct a picture from that, and it's the same things.
Yeah, it's amazing, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it is. And yeah.
What I was thinking to do, I'm sure Steve will probably be able to help with this, just with some advice as much as anything. But if unless there's anything more specific, Steve, that you wanted to talk about, I thought we might bring into the conversation what's the word? The elections, the May elections that are coming up.
Oh yes.
I had it raised with me about sort of, well, what's going to happen? What are WVS going to do? And unfortunately, WVS don't actually have the answer to everything, but as much as I'd like to. But I have made some sort of tentative inquiries to find out how people might be affected by the May the 6th elections. And if basically they're going to go ahead as normal. They're going to make them COVID secure. And so that'll means that within the actual polling stations, if you wanted to physically go and vote, you would need to still wear a mask. I think they're encouraging people to take a pen or a pencil along with them so that you have control of your own writing equipment. There will be social distancing, there'll be plastic screens, there'll be lots of hand sanitizers. So they're trying to reassure people that if you're feeling confident enough to go to a high street shop or to the post office, that you should have as much confidence in being able to attend the polling station. That said, they're very conscious that more people might want to take up the opportunity to complete a postal vote this year. And therefore they are putting provision in place with the Royal Mail to make sure that all of the postal votes are going to be able to be circulated in time to count. But in order for somebody to participate in a postal vote, they actually have to register with their local authority in the first instance. Now, if you were a sighted person, you're encouraged to download a form off the internet, classically, complete that form and send it off with your signature to your electoral authority. So I've contacted a couple of different local authorities. I spoke to Warwick and tried to speak to Stratford today, just to find out how they're working to support people that might have accessibility needs, because the government website basically says that electoral authorities should put something in place. And the response I've got is that there is, let's get my notes, so I've got them all.
Do you know, all this surprises me because Stevenage and North Herts Council are very accessible in that you can just register online. You don't download a form at all. You just tick a tick box that signs an electronic signature.
Yeah, well, you see, this is the government website. If you go on to gov.com to start with, that indicates that if you need any technical assistance, or accessibility, that you go to your local authority. So I phoned up Warwick, and the initial response was that they could effectively blow up the application form to possibly A3 standard and send it out to people in the post. And that was the sort of, this is what we could do. So I sort of said to them, well, I don't want to advise my clients sort of what your Heath Robinson response is. The government website says you should have a response, how people that need assistance, rather than just sort of coming up with this. So they went away and had a think about it. And there are a couple of things. Obviously, the initial response was, surely people have people helping them, like carers. And I said, well, carers going in don't naturally complete paperwork on their behalf. They're often there to do personal care. It depends on the type of carer. And also family and friends are social distancing and not necessarily in bubbles, so they can't help at the moment. But I said, obviously, we would try to encourage people to get support from family, friends and carers where possible. They did say that there was help, that they, on a case-by-case basis, if there was a problem, they could facilitate a waiver for the signature that's required.
You have email.
It became about as clear as mud as to really how to advise people. So what I was going to say to everybody is that postal votes will obviously mean that if you cannot get out for any reason, your vote still counts if you've voted in advance by post. There is a form to complete, which is an A4. Currently, when I print it off the computer, it's an A4 form, and it requires just your name, your surname, your full name, your address, telephone number. It has some boxes which it requires you to write within, which again depends on whether or not you would be using a screen reader or if you've got some useful vision and could use a magnifier. But you'd need to fill in some boxes to talk about how long you want to continue voting via post, or whether or not you want to specify a period that you want to vote by post. They don't make it easy, do they?
Again, we get nothing like this in our area. I mean, you just register online every year to vote by post.
Yeah,
that will be the case once you've first registered, Steve.
Yeah.
But Louise, that response you've had from Warwick,
yeah.
That response in itself is a breach of the Equality Act. They don't have the right to tell a disabled person to go away and get somebody else to do a job which is their legal duty. So you need
I was going to say the same.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, we're 10 years on from the Equality Act, and even under the general duty to promote equality, they should be able to give you a better answer than that.
No, that is their duty to do it, and they cannot say go away and do it yourself. That is not acceptable.
Yeah.
No.
I think
Oh, that's interesting.
If you will press them, Louise, please. We need a better outcome then.
I will press them, but obviously I can only report back to you what
Yes.
that I'm getting. So I'm
Yes, of course.
fact that for those people that may wish to go down the route of registering by post, that option is open to them, and they have extended the deadlines for doing so. And like I say, the form, I'm looking at a form which is they're not asking for overly onerous information, but it is very much a hot formatted form. So, and I did say to them, is it over? And they said no, they've got nothing specific for, it's access enabled maybe. So again, it will depend on your device that you're using as to whether or not it.
Go on, ask for it in Braille, I dare you.
Well, they should. It's a printed material that they are producing, and under the Equality Act, they should be able to produce it
Should be able to
in
do it in
alternative
Braille.
format, including Braille.
Yeah. Yep.
What they did say is they had some site enhancers at the polling station. So if you were to physically go to the polling station, they have some site enhancers which are to presumably like magnifiers basically to assist in sort of
But have you-
where to put your ticks.
I always go to the polling station, and they have what they usually have is they have like an overlay device with a series of little flaps that you lift that correspond to where the boxes are for you to tick.
That's right.
And they're very good. They're printed in large print, and they're also marked with the Braille characters as well. So
it's a typical council response, though, Louise, because a few years ago I was on a council forum at Stevenage and Hearts, and they said that they were making improvements for the blind in Stevenage town centre, and I said, "What are you doing?" They said, "We're putting a yellow line down the road," and so you could, I said, "What good is a yellow line to me?"
Yes.
That's so typical, Steve.
That's going back to what you were saying, Steve, about sighted people trying to help and not really understanding.
They don't think it, but they don't think it through, do they?
No, I think my query today is probably the first one they've obviously had of this, and like I say, he had to go away and come back because I had said to him about the fact that blowing.
Louise, on a similar subject, again dealing with the authority. What about the census?
Well, yeah, we'll come to that in just a minute. I'm just going to
All right.
I've got no technical magic bullet answers for you on that one, Louise.
No, just finishing off. Well, obviously not finishing off full stop, but the other update in relation to the voting is that obviously they're encouraging people to see if they can get people to fill in the form, and they will provide a larger print if requested. I will check back with them and sort of specify their requirements. And like I say, they were as surprised as I was that the government said that there should be a format. So obviously having plans for one.
Louise, would you be able to come a bit closer to the microphone? We're losing quite a lot of what you're saying.
Okay. The other thing that they've encouraged people to do is you can also get what's called a proxy vote. So you can actually fill in a form again, but basically with some support, which then gives somebody who you trust to vote on your behalf. So then to complete the voting application when it comes through. But the actual application to vote by proxy, the form is exactly the same really as the application to vote by post. So if you have to complete one, in some respects, you might as well do it yourself rather than giving the responsibility over to someone else. So I know it was raised the other day. We have started that dialogue with the council as to what support will be given. But this support this year, I suppose the only difference is this year to any other election, and this is what we need to bear in mind, is that there could be some social distancing, or people might not be so inclined to want to go out, and therefore they might want to postal vote where they haven't done previously.
Yes.
The postal vote and the proxy voting options have always been available, and whether or not people have taken those up in the past who've been visually impaired, I don't know. So I will contact all 5 of the boroughs in case there is a different response from each of them.
I've done postal voting for years.
And yeah, over the next few weeks, and sort of any information we get, we'll report back.
That's good, because we might find out what best practice is. Whichever of them has got the best procedure,
yeah,
we can tell the others that that's the way to do it.
Technically,
but,
you'd like to think they all
time is short.
doing the same thing, but not necessarily. So like I say, I don't have the answers to everything, but we have started looking into that one.
That's great. Thanks for doing that, Louise.
I'll just pick up on the census.
Yes, I was gonna say that was the next question.
If you want, I've been in touch with Sally Bannister, who is the coordinator for the census for Warwickshire, and she's going to come along to probably our meeting on the 3rd. I've got yet to confirm that with her. We've got one of our rehab officers doing the initial part, and then Sally will come and do a talk about it, and you can put your questions to her rather than us, really, because I think she's the one to answer them.
That's great. Thanks. Do you know? Could remind us what date she's coming in, would you?
It's the next one, the meeting from this one, a fortnight's time.
That's great, because Census Day, I think, is March 13th, is it?
21st.
21st. So yeah, so she'll be able to advise us before.
Yeah, that's good.
Before the date we need to do it. Yeah, and then hopefully they'll have a system for sending out large print versions or filling in online.
Hopefully they'll have the answers for that, Ian.
Yeah, great. Thanks for doing this, ladies. That's brilliant. Those
Yes, that's
were,
wonderful. Thank
those
you.
two things were real problems that were going to arise, and thanks for being on top of it.
Well, trying to be. Like I said, I can't believe we're over halfway through February already. But, okay, right. Let's pick up on something that was mentioned the other night, which is robo vacuum cleaners. Now, this is where technology may let us down. But Paul, well, a few weeks ago, several weeks ago, Paul actually raised the question of RoboVax with me, and I provided him with some information on a couple of models and where he could buy them. And what I would say to this, there are lots of models of robo vacuum cleaner on the market, so it's not like I'm promoting one over the other. Price points do vary from a couple of £100 up to several £100s. And they come with, as you would imagine, more functionality the more money that you pay. But we mentioned them the other night, and I happened to glibly comment about having got into TikTok recently, of which I have to confess my obsession with TikTok has already gone. I'm one of these all or nothing people, and after about 10 days I'm bored and fed up, and I've already disabled the apps on both my devices.
Well done. Find something better to do with your life.
And that's the problem, is I've got plenty to do better with my life than lots of little 30-second videos. But one I had seen was that of a cat riding around on a RoboVac. But interestingly enough, whilst I haven't got the cat video to hand, Paul has actually videoed his RoboVac in action. And I'm now going to try and share my screen and play a couple of videos. And this is where we're going to see if we can test my technology and see whether or not you can not only maybe see if you can see the video, but obviously hear its little rotation. Now, Christine, you're not on video today, so this is going to be a short 20-second video of basically a RoboVac. I don't know if you've ever seen one. It's about the size of a dinner plate, and it's basically a little machine that hooves up crumbs and dust off of the floor, and it actually uses something probably similar to LiDAR insofar as it sort of it bounces off of surfaces and creates a mapping system around someone's house, and you set it to effectively vacuum on your behalf, and when it needs to recharge itself or empty, it knows where its recharger is. It's very clever, and it takes itself back to it, and it empties itself and places it back in and charges again. So this was Paul's answer to not wanting to do the vacuuming. So let's go and see whether or not this works.
Is it audio?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's about to start.
Right, I've got a blue video screen. Let's see what happens.
You've got to put a shilling in the meter.
I was going to say, it's brilliant, isn't it?
Is it going to be audio described?
I bet it isn't.
No, it's not.
So
But
far,
we'll
Christine, we've just got
we'll imagine it.
Oh, it's not. Yeah. Oh,
Oh, here we go. Oh, no,
Right,
that's
so
better mine.
did you see that for the first instance?
No.
No,
No,
we didn't see anything.
We had a blank
This one.
screen, but down the right-hand side, we had all the Zoom faces, but
And we had no audio either.
no audio either. No.
So you
Right.
double click.
I will try again. Unfortunately, Christine, it won't be audio described. The humming noise, if you did hear that, was literally the machine whirring.
Well,
yeah, heard that. Yeah.
just tell me what it's doing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, why bother with the videos?
Let's give this a go again, because this was some technology that we wanted to test out. We wanted to see if we can share. Let's have a look.
Yeah, Paul's gone to a lot of trouble to send it to us, so let's give it a
I did, 'cause I had to work out how to do it. I did it through Dropbox in the end.
Oh, that's different.
Right.
Oh, hang on. No, it's come back with. What's it come back with?
So here we go. No, it's just on Dropbox.
Oh,
this is.
yes. Here we go.
Oh, yes.
Not last time. Yep.
Right. Okay. I'm going to press the play, and what I'll do
No.
try to describe. So
Oh.
that's
So,
right.
Louise, while that was playing, we weren't hearing what you were saying.
Yeah, we just
But we could hear and see the video.
yeah.
Okay. Just for the Christine, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Right. Just apologies. Obviously, I'd say maybe when the video is playing, then my audio stops. So it's the Black Disc vacuum cleaner, this round robo device. Basically, it spins as it changes direction, and if it bumps into a skirting board or an item, a sock or a shoe, it detects it and it moves in another direction. So effectively, it works its way around, and it will continue going all the way around your floor until such time as it needs to either recharge its batteries or goes and uses it out. So that was one video. There is a second one.
Yeah.
That's
very
actually that sounds really useful because I'm sick of my vacuum eating the dog's toys and my socks and things like that because you can't see them on the floor.
Oh, well, this would see them and avoid them, I think.
Yeah, it would see them, avoid them, but it would be picking up all of Sparks's hairs at the same time, which would be really good.
Yeah.
So I've got a second video here that I'm just going to play. They're very short. So
Oh, it's loud.
there we go.
Guys, do you still need me? Because I don't have any expertise in robot vacuum cleaners.
Live and learn.
Well,
I think Steve is running a business after all, so I suppose if we don't need any more questions, maybe.
Sorry, I was just thinking, I can't contribute to this. So.
No, that's fine, Steve. No, thank you. No, we just our meetings do tend to sort of move on to talking about all sorts of different things. But we thank you ever so much for taking the time out of your day.
Yeah, let me just say thank you for the opportunity, and if you ever need me again, just shout.
No,
Yeah,
well,
thanks, Steve. It's very informative.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Steve.
Bye. Bye.
we'll make sure
Bye.
we know all of your details.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.
See you soon.
Right. Okay. So just picking up on that, obviously, there were two little demo videos that Paul had kindly made for us. And I think what's interesting to note, Christine, because I know you're quite interested, is that when you watch the video, and I appreciate you've not been able to do that, you'll see actually how careful the device is not to crash into skirting boards and objects. It is censored to make sure that it goes along a skirting board, but it's not trying to scrape it or damage it. It obviously keeps a certain distance away from things. It's so that's really quite useful.
You have to be warned to go out while it does it. Takes a long. It's very, very slow, and it makes a lot of noise.
Well, it doesn't. It isn't as loud when you're actually with it. It's just the way the sound that it's picked up, but it's not actually that loud in reality when you kind of.
But it's best to just. I know my nephew's had one for years, and I know it just does the house while they're at work.
Yeah.
Does it go all over the house or the flat, or does it just do one room?
It can do whatever you want, so it can go all over the house, or if you just want.
Does it know to go all over the house, or does it just stay in? Do you have to tell it?
Go upstairs.
I think when you first set it up, Kate, it will go wherever it can.
Yeah.
It stops at steps. It can't go up or downstairs, no.
Yeah.
But it goes all over the flat surface that you lay it on, and it finds all the boundaries and all the furniture, and then it memorises where they all are.
Yeah.
So if you kept the door open then, so it did the lounge and you kept the door open, then it would know to go outside the door and go into the hall.
It would go everywhere it can until it gets a step or a boundary, like a wall.
So if you shut the door, it wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
If you close the door, it simply won't be able to go there. And it then continues on its route around the house until it's completed the job.
Yeah.
It does mean that all the corners are dirty.
Yes, it is. It is.
Because it being round, you
Yeah.
miss the corners.
It is circular, so it can't go in corners. Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you have, when you first have it, do you have to program the Hoover when you first have it to?
I think you just set it off, and
you can.
It goes
start
for.
it going. But you can set it up with the internet, but I haven't, as I was saying last week, because I'm going to wait until I can get somebody to do that for me. But,
So what will the difference be if you set it up with the internet then?
then you could program it to memorize things, and you could program it to go up at certain times. So you could set it up to go, I don't know, what, at 12 o'clock or something while you were out of the house.
And you can set it depending on where you put it. You can tell it it's downstairs or upstairs.
Yeah.
It knows which route to take around your house,
Yeah.
But it can't go up the stairs.
Yeah, it won't do that.
So how do you tell it when to start then? If you just want the house hoovering, how do you tell it to start?
If you've got it set up for, some of them come with a remote control where you can turn it on or off. Some of them you can set a timer, and other times you just go and press the button and off it goes.
Yeah.
So Paul has to press the button then to start the Hoover off.
Yes.
I think Paul's got a remote control one.
So Paul does at the moment because he's not set up any automatic updates, Kate. But I think that again the functionality can vary depending on the model, and again depending on the price often that you pay. So there may well be some additional functionality that comes by paying more. But I think yours does you're pretty pleased with yours, aren't you, Paul?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty good. It saved me doing something that I don't like doing, like I say. So I think
can you get robot carpet cleaners as well?
I don't know. Well, possibly, I suppose. I don't know that actually.
Yeah.
Paul, does it go on hard floors as well as carpet?
Yeah, it'll go on hard floors. It's probably better on hard floor, I think, because it's it'll get things up easier, I believe, anyway. But it'll change between the two as well. So, like my kitchen's a hard floor, so it'll do that, and then it'll go into the lounge and it'll do that Carpet. So,
where did you get yours from in the end, Paul?
Amazon. Somebody I know had got the same model that I bought and said, "Oh, it's a great," So I went for that one in the end.
Yeah.
I'll stick with my wife.
Oh, that's. You mean you don't do the hoovering, right?
We can't see.
Neither can I.
That's no excuse.
Any excuse.
So could you get the robot Hoover to do the stairs as well, or does it not do stairs?
No.
It's circular. It can't go up or down safely. It
not
can't,
at the moment.
It can't raise itself up, and if it goes over the lip of the stairs, it'll just tumble down.
Yeah, it doesn't have the ability to go between.
They're trained to stop at the stair edge.
Yeah.
You could put it on each step in turn.
Yeah,
Just lift
you'd
it
have
up.
to move with it while you're doing it, and just move it once you'd have done one step, move it to the next one, and do it that way.
Yeah.
That would work, I think.
I'm happy to share with anybody that wants it, the details of the ones that I sent to Paul, but I think I've just put Robo back into Amazon and it comes up with about 200 results. So there are lots of them on the market. Yeah.
If there's an Amazon recommends, an Amazon choice one, something like that, then that would be nice to know about, please, Louise.
Yeah. Do you have access to Amazon, Ian?
I've got Prime, but I can't see the screen. So if you can,
There is one that's Amazon's choice, but I'm never 100% sure, being honest, why they make it their choice. Whether it's because it's a sponsorship type thing, or if it's because of the ratings.
I think it's a combination of
products, don't you?
Yeah, I think it's one of their algorithms. It's just one that they know they don't get any returns, so they know it's popular and useful, and the price is okay. So it's kind of like a popular choice, I think, is the way they do it.
Okay, for some reason I'm in Amazon.com actually, because everything's come up in dollars, but I will find out what the UK one is and I can just send that. I won't send it out on the, not unless people require it, I'll send it out to them individually rather than putting it on the full update.
Yeah.
Perhaps
if you go Amazon.co.uk, that's the site that.
Yeah, no, I normally do. It's just what I've got, because I've got my second computer running. I've obviously gone into Amazon.com. But Christine, would you like some details as well?
No, there's no way I'd have one of those. No, I'd rather go around by feel and with my crevice tool into all the corners and things.
Oh, you are house proud.
Well, when you live with a hairy dog, you have to be.
You're lucky you still have a dog.
Can I tell you something that I've got useful?
Yes.
I've got a Russell Hub iron and I got it from Sainsbury's and it's brilliant and it's colours and it's all different colours for different temperatures and it's a brilliant iron and I really would recommend it. It's a mainstream iron but it's ever so good and it's colours, so it's a different temperature for a different colour. And it's a Russell Hub iron, and I got mine from Sainsbury's.
Right.
That's useful to know.
Yeah, good to know.
What's an iron?
Yeah, I was just wondering that, Martin.
I was wondering that myself.
That's honest. I can't remember the last time I used an iron.
I've got one somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I have somewhere, but
I think I've got one holding a door open somewhere.
All very cheeky.
It's not stuck on, it'll burn the door.
I'll tell you what is good as well. Those big, those huge irons where you lift the lid up and put the clothes inside and bring it down, like a steam.
Oh yes, yeah.
They're brilliant. Those.
I used to use them when I worked in my dad's hotel. We used to use the roller irons to do the serviettes and the pillowcases and the tea towels.
Press, isn't it? Like
press. That's right. Yeah, press.
The big thing you pull down, isn't it?
That's right. They're not much more than a regular iron, but they do it really well.
You can still get those, yeah.
Can I just ask you, Kate, do you remember what model it was that had all the colours for the temperatures?
The rainbow?
I don't know if I've still got the box, but it's definitely a Russell Hub. And I got it from Sainsbury's a few weeks ago because my iron broke. And it's colour. It's a colour one.
Do you remember the price, Kate? Do you remember the price? That might be a guide.
I don't know. It might have been about £40 or £50. You can get them from Argos as well.
Oh right, that's in Sainsbury's now, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for Warwick.
I can't remember the model number. I mean, I've still got the receipts for the guarantee, but whether I've got the box, I'd have to have a look and perhaps tell you another week to find the box.
Yeah, that's not a problem. I'm sure I'll be able to find something by looking on Sainsbury's. Sainsbury's will sell less irons, fewer range than sort of Amazon, so that's fine. But yeah, so okay, right. Well, we talked about RoboVax now.